We are live, and I would like to welcome you to our broadcast this Wednesday. And we've got the lovely Alicia with us, and she's an energy and relationship coach and a mother of 4 children between the ages of 3 and 13. So to you, bowing down to you at this time, Alicia. She is a wife and been in a relationship for 20 years. So another bow to you. That's the long haul. And you're also author of a book called Pure Energy, founder of the Global Soul Center, and founder of Marriage Hub. So you've also worked as a lawyer as well. You've been working as a lawyer for nearly 18 years as well. So you've done a lot of things. So tell me, Alicia, what brought you to energy work? Considering you were a lawyer before, what brought you to energy work?
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me tonight to have a chat with you. I love nothing more than connecting with other people and particularly other women as we're all navigating Earth School together.
Yes, exactly.
So, yeah, in terms of energy work, I was always interested from a teenager. I was really interested in spirituality and in past lives and near-death experiences. I started reading about all of those things in my teens. And then in the early 2000s, I started studying. I did some study of Reiki and Qigong as well. But it was not until 2012 that my interest in energy really just cemented, because I had an incredible experience. I don't know, Shavita, if you are aware of this experience. I might have shared it previously, but I was just a mum. I had 2 little kids at the time. In 2012, I was working. I was a pretty exhausted lawyer at that point. I was working in one of the big firms and trying to juggle everything, and really was struggling and exhausted and depleted. And I started trying to get back in touch with my inner self and journaling and meditating and things like that. And I had this experience where I was just hanging out the washing. I probably had my shoes off, and I spontaneously started to channel. And I had a voice talk to me, but using my voice, saying, I am Goenga. I am your father spirit guide, and I'm here to remind you what you are here to do on earth. And then he spoke about helping people to understand the laws of energy and about how we're all magnificent souls, spiritual beings, that we are eternal, we are infinite. And I'd never experienced anything like this. I'd never even seen channeling. The only narrative I had that was close to this was in the movie Ghost. Do you remember the movie Ghost?
Yes, but how did you know something was happening? Did it just suddenly just happen, or did you experience it with the awareness that this is happening, or you just went through the experience without really knowing what's going on?
I was conscious, but someone was talking to me, but using my voice physically, Shavita. It's not like hearing the voice in your head. He was using my voice. My vocal, like talking like this, but using my voice. And so the only thing I'd seen was Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost, where she channeled. That's all I'd seen. I didn't know what a channeler was. I had no experience of it. And so I'm having this whole experience, and I remember I was kind of probably frozen. If anyone saw me, they would just think, what's going on? And after the experience, my kind of legal analysis kicked in, and I was like, okay, either I have gone spontaneously crazy, like absolutely batshit crazy, or with no history of mental illness, and I'm pretty sensible and boring, and no drug taking history, or this has actually really just occurred. And I knew that was the truth because I experienced it. And then over the coming weeks, I had many, many more experiences like this, but with different energies coming through and identifying themselves by name and explaining various things. And this continued to happen. And for 6 years, I told about 6 people.
And then how did your husband react when you told him this? Because that's a big thing to share with your husband as well.
Well, Shavita, he wasn't even one of the 6.
Oh, wow.
Because it was so out there. And in 2012, channeling was out there. It wasn't very common. It's now, as there are things changing on our planet and thinning of the veil and the dimensions are joining a bit closer, there are many more people experiencing this. But in 2012, it was pretty unusual. And so he had been a Jehovah's Witness for a long time. And so that context was, I just wasn't sure how that was going to roll, to be honest, with him. Even though we're super close and share everything, I wasn't sure how he was going to feel. And it's pretty unusual, like your wife, who's your lover and your friend, then other, voices coming through her. It is a little bit odd. So yeah,
Who was the first person you told? Just out of interest, Alicia.
The first person I told was my mum. And then my dad, I told my best friend, just a few very close friends, and my Reiki teacher.
And how was their reaction to this?
My mum was a bit wary and a bit concerned, to be honest, because she was just a bit worried. It was a little bit unusual. But my Reiki master, he was amazing because he came over and I was experiencing, and he was just laughing and sitting back saying, he said some things that were very confirming and affirming. And so he just thought it was great. He's like, this is not a big deal. You're a medium, you're a channeler. This is just part of what's supposed to happen and it's all fine. And so he gave me a lot of comfort. And he also spoke about there being an ancestral guide who he could see. And then later I had an experience where one of my guides speaks a completely different language. And it's like, I don't understand it, and talking. And he another guide told me it was ancient Minahasa, which is a language of my grandfather from northern Sulawesi in Indonesia. So anyway, it's just, it was just an unusual experience. Wow. Yeah. So that got me onto energy big time, because I knew that was my purpose, and I knew that that's what I had to teach.
So how has this experience changed your life? Because you are a lawyer, and also you were a mother at that time. How has that experience changed your way of thinking, being, and showing up in the world?
It's changed everything. It changed absolutely everything, because prior to this, I did have belief in spirituality, but I didn't have the knowing. I didn't have the actual experiential knowing that I now have and understand. And so I had kind of the theory and things I thought were true, but I was still attached to my physical human self prior to this. But now that I have the understanding of other things and other dimensions and our purpose, and that we never die and that we are eternal, it's given me a completely different look and perspective on the world, on experiences I have, on experiences other people have, on just everything is a learning opportunity on Earth School, and there is neither good nor bad. It's just changed everything, and it's made life so much more enjoyable and relaxing and fun. And the worry and the stress that I used to have in life has really fallen away.
Oh, that's fantastic. So how can, you're a energy a coach. How do you coach your clients into implementing some of these things that you've learned along the way in your journey to make your life more enriched while you're on this planet?
Yes, thank you. So I understand what it's like to have a full life, and to feel like, particularly for the mums out there, that it's hard to fit in big daily practices. And so you understand, I'm sure, you're a mum as well. And so what I teach is really integrating daily rituals into our lives that we can just fit in 10 seconds here, 1 minute there, 2 minutes there, and it's really a living meditation. So all of the things that you would do habitually, I have rituals around. So when I'm washing my face, then I have I'm imagining all of any negative energy or negative in the human sense, anything that's stale, not needed, coming off me. As I'm showering, the same. I have breath work that I do every single morning to nourish and clear and protect and charge my energy. And when I'm having meals, I'm saying grace. I'm always bringing back to presence and awareness, because when we are in the present moment, as you know, that's when we are tapped right in to our source, and we are able to access infinite energy. So when we're not this frail human that sometimes we maybe think we are, and when we realize we are magnificent and eternal, and we can just with awareness and presence tap ourselves back in to that infinite energy and literally charge the battery up. So I teach, like in the book I wrote, I basically have 30 daily energy rituals, which are just little things. As you're walking in the door from work, just imagining a film over your door that you're stepping through, and you're dropping everything from the day behind you, and you're stepping in to really be present with our families. So just lots of little things. Before I take my jewelry off at night, I put it in this little bowl, and I imagine that I choose my jewelry for the next day, and I imagine it's being charged up in the night, and just everything around bringing intention. So then when I put it on the next day, it's like just like Wonder Woman, how it charges.
Yes, I love that analogy.
Yeah, so just really understanding the laws of energy and how to use them in our human dimension, in the third dimension, to ensure that our batteries are staying full, so that you're not at the end of the day just like completely depleted and on the couch. Like I love for people to experience by the end of the day that they're still feeling charged and full of energy and not really run down and depleted. And a lot of it is around our thoughts and the chemicals we dispense ourselves with our amazing pharmacy that's in our body is determined by the thoughts that we choose to tell ourselves, and how the perspective that we have about experiences that we're having day to day.
So, in your book, you had 30 little rituals or tools people could use. If you can think of 3 to 5 that people now, especially in Melbourne, can use, because we're all in the house, we're all together, our energies are all merging. By just changing our own personal energy, we can also change the energy of the people around us.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
How could we implement 3 to 5 small things we can do to help us navigate through this time we're living in at the moment?
Yes, thank you. So one really quick thing that I do each morning is I call it greet the day. Many other people do this. It's just literally of a morning before all the thoughts start coming and the worries and the distractions, to just put your feet straight on the ground, feel the earth or the floor or the carpet, whatever it is, and just say thank you for this fresh day. This is going to be a great day.
Just breaking.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now? Thank you for this fresh day. This is going to be a great day.
Yes, carry on.
Yeah, so just being grateful for the day, just to start the day. And, it takes 3 seconds, but just bringing that awareness into your start of the day. So that's one thing I do. There are 3 breathing exercises I do that are totally non-negotiable for me. Which I can put, we probably don't have time for me to do them, but I've got videos, free videos, that if people want to have a look at them. So they have been
in the comments, that'd be great.
Yeah, great, because they have been channeled by an amazing warrior, ascended master, who is no longer in human form, but has been. So he understands this planet. And so he's channeled these exercises, a start the day one, and also I do a protect your energy. And also do a clear the day as well.
Yes.
The other thing is just really being conscious around our phone usage, and when we
that's a big one.
When you choose to start to touch your phone of a morning. And for me, I've given myself a personal rule that I'm not allowed to touch my phone until I've done all of my breathing exercises for the morning. So I just know that is a leverage point for me, because I love my phone and I want to see, all the things that are happening in the world. So that's one thing, is just putting some rules around the phone use, because as soon as we start to open our emails or open our phone, then our day starts being taken over by the agenda of other people and what other people may be wanting of us. And we're maybe not so much in the driver's seat of our day. So really kind of setting those rules to honor ourselves and our time. And another thing is around honoring ourselves, like finding one thing that you can do that day and really set aside the time to honor yourself and to connect back with our souls. And it can be something really little, just, having a little cup of tea by yourself and smiling. I mean, as a mum, it may not last for long. There's always kids coming around. But just something, whether it's your affirmations or, whether it's just meditating, even for, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, like the concept of trying to meditate for me for 30 minutes, an hour, it's not that easy to fit in
I find that it's not going to happen. It's not, even if just you do 1 minute, it's better than nothing.
Absolutely. And some people get a bit overwhelmed by meditation because they think it has to be a big thing. So the meditation that I've been taught, that I practice, is Vipassana meditation. And all it is just focusing on the breath between the space between your nose and your mouth, and just breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And that's it. It's like simple. So really just finding something to honor yourself for the day, something uplifts you, whether it's putting on a beautiful song, reading a poem, reading something beautiful, watching something beautiful. So that's something that's really easy to do. Getting out into nature is really,
I love that one.
So important. That's where our soul's natural rhythm is most at home. So that's why it makes sense that when we go and we see an ocean or we're in a forest, like there is a remembering that happens, because our soul starts to get back in sync with its natural rhythm, really taking your shoes off if you can and planting your feet in the ground to really center you. So I don't know if I did 3 or how many I did there, but they're kind of just some of the just little things, nothing amazing. And
how long does your breathing exercises take in the morning when you do them?
So it varies. It's usually only somewhere between 10 minutes. Sometimes it's 5 minutes. Usually I try and do with my breathing, I try and do about 10 minutes. So I have some set ones that I do every morning, qigong and breathing ones. And then I also just have random ones that just spontaneously happen of a morning for whatever is needed that day.
Now, one thing, how can we become more aware? Because sometimes we're so busy, we're not even aware of our own energies. How do we become aware of our own energy and also the energy around us? Because I'm an empath, so I can draw upon other people's energy. So if somebody's heavy, I can also almost take that on myself. How do we navigate through this? And I'm sure a lot of people that are in lockdown with their families are picking up on so many different people's energies and moods. How do we start protecting that?
So the empath question is a big one, because so many women particularly are empaths, and there's varying degrees of empaths. So some people will just feel and have a knowing of something as they interact with someone. Some people will be empaths where they actually can feel the pain that others are experiencing. So you might be surrounded by people and suddenly you start to get a headache or something sore in the shoulder, but it's actually picking up on someone else's energy, because we have, as I'm sure you are totally aware of, so we've got our energetic body, and our energetic field extends quite far beyond our body. And what I'm discovering in energy sessions. So I do one-on-one channeled energy sessions. And what I'm discovering is that the distance that people's energy field is off their body makes quite a difference to their energy levels. So what I'm seeing is that some people are coming in and their energy fields are way, way, way off their bodies, like really, really far. And so as they're out in the world, their energy field is so expanded and stretched out that when they're interacting with other people, it's very easy for other people to suck and grab
So
energy.
what type of person would have that big energy field? What type of person? Is there
what I'm and I'm just I'm really learning. Each person I see, I'm learning different things. But what I'm noticing is that people who maybe haven't had boundaries, that are, and often women, because we can be over accommodating, over giving, concerned too much about what other people think, and pleasing others, and all of those things. And each time it's like our energy field moves further and further as we honor ourselves less and less, and say yes to other. Then our energy field gets further and further away from the body. Not always that. It can be at stressful times where the energy field is not holding us tightly enough, and is getting depleted. So then we're leaking energy that way. So really, even just of an evening before you go to bed, just imagining your energy field really coming in to nurture and coming home to us, and we're the commanders of our energy system, and learning how to actually command our energy system to bring your field in to whatever is the best point for you at where you are at that time. But because so few people understand how the field works, that there hasn't been cleaning of the field every day. Like, just like you brush our teeth and you clean out a blender, so our field also needs to be clean and cleared each day, so it doesn't get filled up with gunk, which can then potentially impact our physical health. So particularly with empaths, being really conscious of where our responsibility starts and it ends. And having said that, I say that in the context of the bigger picture, which is that I believe we are all actually one energy anyway. We are collectively one energy, but we are in our human form, which has to some degree separated the energy, so that for our human capacity to manage our energy, there is a need at times to actually be a little bit protective of our energy, so that we're not getting just zapped by other people. Because there are many people that will take energy from people, not consciously, but they may be walking around and their cup is just not full and their battery is not full, and energetically they come across someone who has a lot of energy or has an open field, and they will just take that. And and everyone's experienced this. Even people who don't believe in anything that I'm saying will be able to have experienced a time where they've had an interaction with someone and they've walked away feeling completely wiped out and zapped of energy. And so when we become really more conscious and aware of our energy, of when we're having higher energy, when we're feeling lower after interactions, like to bring the awareness, every time I've had a conversation with such and such, I've actually walked away feeling depleted. Okay, I'm just aware of that. I'm just noticing that, and it's not anything negative of the other person.
No.
Sometimes the lesson may be for us to learn the boundary around that, or whatever it is. But so to actually communicate with your own energy field. So if I have an interaction with someone and it feels a bit icky, or I feel like someone's vomited, and dumped on you because they're having a hard time or whatever, then when you're conscious that you've got your protective field up, it's like you can love them and hear them and listen to them and it bounces off. And also we can say things to ourselves like, I've just had an interaction with X. I refuse to take on any energy that's not helpful for me following that interaction. That is their responsibility. They're dealing with XYZ. I love them, but just telling your field, we're not taking that on, and just allowing that to push back off you.
So you can visualize some sort of protection before you enter into a situation that you know that's going to be a bit draining.
Yeah, you can put the extra protection, and one of the exercises that I'll put the link for, Protect the Energy, is this protective energy where you're creating this geometrical shape around you of a protective energy shield.
That's so fascinating, because I know when I've done Vipassana too in meditation, when I come out of that, I am so sensitive to everything. Smells, noises, people. It's like I just can't come out straight away. I have to be really mindful. And the same when I'm in a deep meditation, I just can't go back out into the world. And even coming out of COVID last time, I was quite sensitive. It's like I've been in my bubble and now I'm entering back into the world. But I have to be mindful of how I enter into the world, because I've become a bit more mindful as how I show up in the world.
Yes, I relate to everything you just said, and particularly with Vipassana. I mean, we're there for 10 days, but it feels like 5 years.
Yes, it does. 10 days of not talking. If anybody's watching, Vipassana meditation is 10 days of not talking to anybody, and not even eye contact, because I was in India when I did mine. It was no eye contact.
Yeah, no eye contact and no stimulation, no reading, no writing, no music, all of the things that we, particularly in the Western world, tend to distract ourselves with to avoid the stillness and going inward.
Yeah. And then our minds play. I was making assumptions about people I saw, and then when I got to know them, they were completely different than what I assumed. So that's one of the lessons I came out of it, saying, okay, don't assume anything about anybody just by looking at them.
Oh my goodness, I remember the same. Or people would talk at the end of Vipassana, and they'd be like, have a beautiful accent like you, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I didn't expect that voice to come out of that person.
Yeah, so it was an interesting experience. So anybody's got any questions that's watching, please shoot them in and we'll try to answer them. And the lovely Alicia is going to link some of those videos that she said she was going to share with us, so we can maybe use some of those tools while we're in lockdown. And I think it's really hard when we're in a situation with our families, and sometimes our families can be taking our energies too. So we need these tools to sort of say, okay, I have to perform, I have to give my energy to my family, but I need to take myself out for an hour to recharge.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm talking to a lot of mums at the moment, and that is the message that's coming through, because yes, you know, we want to do the best by our kids and we want to help our kids to get through all of this. However, we're also doing the best by our kids by honouring ourselves, and filling our own cup first will make us a far better mum.
I think so too, and we're not taught this I wasn't taught this by my mother. So there's this inherited way of behaving, because don't forget, women, the first time we have choices and boundaries, I don't think we were able to even communicate that before. So we're the first generation of women that can possibly say, actually, there is boundaries here.
Oh, absolutely. And these have been the big lessons for me, because I've been a natural pleaser, no boundaries, just yes. And so in really having to walk the talk of what I'm teaching, I've had to really make a lot of decisions that have been uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, I've never been happier.
Oh, that's so fantastic to hear. And any questions? Have you got any questions? We've got a few minutes left. I'm just seeing if any questions have come up. I'll go on my quick phone. Just checking. No questions so far, but if you've got your questions, please pop them in the comments, and I'm sure you answer them.
Yeah, of course.
And share those videos with us, because we need all the tools we can get to get through this journey, because it's an unusual time in our lives. It's like we're doing a Vipassana with our family.
Yeah, it is a very interesting time, and I think there's the question that has helped me is really like, what are the opportunities in this? What are the gifts in this? And one of the opportunities that I'm experiencing is really learning how to parent, because in our Western world, a lot of our kids are outsourced a lot of the time. And we've never really had to be 24/7 with our kids. And so I'm really learning, I feel like for the first time, really learning how to parent.
Yes, and we're doing new things that we've never done, and also we're coming up with emotions that we have not felt before either, in our relationships as well as within ourselves, because we can't hide away from ourselves.
No, it's really an opportunity where I was talking to a friend today where it's really a mirror is being shone up to a lot of people, and a lot of things that are coming forth for healing are coming forth now. Like there's been an acceleration of things that are coming forth for people, and an opportunity to really, look and reflect, and how do I want to be moving forward? How do I want to spend my time, and what really does matter, and what have I thought mattered that I spent heaps of time in, and a real shifting of priorities, I think, for people. And I think
we can't run away from ourselves in this situation.
No.
We really can't. So whatever is our demons are coming out, and also for other people around us, and navigating through that is by having rituals in place to help you connect with yourself.
Yes.
As well, so you're able to connect with the people in your home. The most important people in your life are the ones in your home. And usually they get neglected along the way because we're so busy. So I've had a question come in. Somebody said that they love this. Any books you recommend to learn more about energy?
Well, I do recommend one book called my book.
Yes, Pure Energy.
Pure Energy, The Busy Woman's Energy Guide to Thrive. So I've tried to capture all things energy in that book, because I remember people used to ask me a lot about what books would you read, and I was like, I don't know one that's really just captures just all around energy, and that's why I kind of wrote it, trying to bring forth all of the information that had been channeled through. But there are other books around energy. There's anything of Gabby Bernstein. So she, I'm very happy to say, has come out and actually shared that she is a channeler as well. So it's kind of taken her about 7 books before she's revealed that. So I was very excited in her most recent book that she actually shared that. So she talks a lot about energies, anything of Gabby Bernstein. Who else? Oh, David Hawkins is the other one. My camera goes the other way. Power versus Force. So he talks about the map of consciousness, and because everything's around frequencies of energy. So the way that my guides have explained that they can talk through me is because they can get onto my channel, my frequency. Like just radio stations are on all the time, and so getting onto other people's channels. So he's mapped kind of levels of consciousness and talks about the different frequencies, from kind of low level things and fear and shame and humiliation, and high frequency energies, which is love and compassion and joy and gratitude and things like that. So they're probably the best. They're the best kind of starting books, I think.
And how do people learn more? Maybe you can link your website as well on one of the comments.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, so I can easily do that, because I've basically, my vision is I want to create a high frequency energy space called the Global Soul Center, which is going to have practitioners who are providing all different modalities and a place for people to come and nourish their soul. Okay,
excellent. Well, somebody else says, could you write them down in a comment write the information down so people can go and research things. This is a great time to learn about this stuff, because we have the time to listen to podcasts when we're walking, and we've got the headspace, I think.
Yes. It's a time for introspection. It's a time for slowness. It's a time for going inward. And connecting with our truth, which is ultimately pure love.
And remember, I think when you're starting your journey in this area, I think it's important to research lots of different people that have different ways of communicating this and find something that resonates with you. And what resonates with you when you're first starting and what resonates with you as you go along this journey might be different. If that makes sense. Like I was given the book, The Seat of the Soul, 30 years ago.
So good. Yes, here it is. It's a winner.
Yes. I came traveling and I was given that book 30 years ago. I've only opened it 2 years ago.
I totally agree. You buy things and it's like it's not the right time, and then when you pick it up, it's the perfect time.
Yes, and it was perfect then. So when you're researching this and you're reading your books, some books you might not understand it. And Gary, The Seat of the Soul, I thought this is whole humbo job. I don't get it. So I went and read Celestine Prophecy instead, which was a story, and I got that a bit better.
Yes, that's beautiful too.
So you got to sort of research and try different ways of learning about this and do your investigation. There is no right or wrong.
That's right, and it's what resonates with you and what feels right and true for you. And never be, even all the things that I've shared, it's like, do not accept anything that other people necessarily say. It's like be our own investigators and researchers and know, that feels true for me. That feels right, or not sure about that.
Well, thank you so much, Alicia. We can go on and on about this topic. I love this topic.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody, for watching. And if you've got any comments, put them down. Myself and Alicia will be available to answer questions, and Alicia will share her website with you and the book details, so you could go and start buying these books and Googling them and start researching. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Energy is our most valuable commodity, and when we have heaps of it, life is a whole lot better. So I'm so excited to have the opportunity to share tonight with you and your audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Alicia. I really appreciate it. Bye.
Bye, darling.